Hello, it's Talking Reds. It's Monday. It's a bit late, and it's a bit late because we've been over in Scandinavia this weekend. We went to Stockholm and then we went to Oslo. We had a fantastic time, didn't we? We met loads of boss Reds.
The most. I'm currently feeling my fantastic time.
Yeah, we're probably looking our fantastic time as well, if we're being honest, and that's why we're all snuggled up inside jumpers trying to make ourselves feel better and stop loathing ourselves, really. So here we are. We're doing it now. It's a bit later in the day, as I say, but I mean, first and foremost, talk about the Reds. There is Talking Reds, and the Reds got the job done.
The Reds got the job done. It was a very professional performance. You'll have seen it, you'll have watched the game yourselves, and you'll have just seen Liverpool. For me, it's moments of quality that they can't live with, and they can't even do. And I think that the most dispiriting thing about the goal, everyone says the timing is a thing, but it's the idea that you played pretty well. Maybe Liverpool haven't played as well as you might have expected, but they just do that to you, and it's such a brilliant back heel. It's such a brilliant, you know, it's a great finish. He finishes goals in such an economical way. Well, I was reflecting the other day that he doesn't spectacularly finish. He doesn't put much in the top corner. He just gets the ball past the goalkeeper and in the net cellar. But all of that was what it said to Southampton was, we can do this and you can't. And they just came out second half, and it was as if they'd gone, can you just not batter us because we're worried about goal difference. We might go down. Yeah,
I mean, they just sort of did that sort of sterile domination thing where they had the ball and you know, everyone kept banging on about stats about how much they had the ball, but have the ball all you want. We're winning the footy matches, and that's like that two on the run now away from home as well, where you know they haven't been amazing swashbuckling performances, but they don't always have to be, do they? Just get the job done, just win the games, and obviously now Salah 29 goals, Firmino 20. And, you know, lots of good stories today in the papers as well about, you know, more sort of unsung hero. I mean, you know, the echo there says top two for Firmino and Salah, and obviously they are the lads who scored the goals. They set each other up as well. But, you know, away from those two, there's a much better performance from the keeper again.
It's really significant, I think, for the keeper.
Yeah.
He's got. I think it's the first clean sheet when he goes home that he's got as a Liverpool goalkeeper where he can go, that's my clean sheet. Yeah. And I think that's really significant for him.
Yeah, a couple of good saves there, and you know, nice to see him posting, you know, and talking as well. I mean, sometimes, and I do this as well, you do that thing, don't you, where you almost don't want them to tempt fate by going, I'm all right now, when they've had a bit of a rocky time. But he's done an interview today, Gareth, and he is sort of saying, I feel like I'm benefiting now from being regularly in the side, regularly playing with these players, just getting football rather than being, you know, in one Wednesday, out at the weekend and all that sort of thing. And that makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, that will help him. And he does look more confident. And even the sort of your goalkeeper experts kicking around out there, David Priest is always worth a good read. Seeing him saying sort of, you know, his footwork and everything, his confidence, the way he's coming for things and the way he's getting back as well is much better. And it's more like he'd watched them in Germany and he'd kept saying he's better than what you're seeing, you know. And but we were starting to go, is he?
Are you sure?
But it is. I mean, it's a good start, isn't it, if the keeper's playing well?
It is. It helps massively. But it's back to digging your teammates out, and that's something which. One of my criticisms since Klopp's been in, and even the final season with Rodgers, was the number of times you would see a Liverpool player make a mistake, but no one would help. There wouldn't be, the great save. There wouldn't be anything like that. So when Karius makes that save from that header, when Robertson's, you know, he's got two at the back post, someone's not done their job, whether it's Robertson, whether it's someone else, and that's why you end up there. Well, it's all right because he makes the save, and I think that's something which I think we are going forward. Listen, they'll help each other out all day, but we haven't seen a lot of that sort of at the back, or as much of it as you'd like. When, as I say, every single mistake, it felt like it punished us, and that wasn't the case against Southampton. We weren't perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but we didn't find ourselves in a position where we were punished because we weren't quite spot on. And I think that's the best thing, and that's what you want your goalkeepers to do, is what your defenders to do, and I think all of this is linked as well to Van Dijk.
Yeah, no, massively so. I was going to mention him and say that, you know, he as well looked like the player you thought you were getting when you invested all that money. He never stopped talking during that game, was something I noticed. You could see him, he was shouting over to the full-backs, not just to his defensive partner. He was talking to the goalkeeper. He's an organiser as well as being a very good defender, and you know, I thought it was brilliant how he coped with sort of, you know, the pantomime booing and stuff. He literally had a grin on his face running around the pitch.
Yeah, it didn't seem as vociferous as it has been in the seasons gone by, because they're having a bit of a torrid time, I think. I think they're a bit miserable. In second half, I mean, everyone wanted to go home. And we've been on the opposite of that, not very often, thankfully, but you've some days when you're just sitting there thinking, when will this finish? But it is the fact that they're so toothless, and meanwhile you can see a Liverpool side that's not toothless. And, you know, the goals we've scored, it says here we've got 34 and 14 away games this season, which is just unbelievable. And the points per game we're picking up is, you know, to be picking up 2.4 points per game on the, you know, on doing that on the road. It's a testament to how well this side's doing and how well it's done. You know, we saw them get battered by Manchester City and get battered by Tottenham, and I think that was a real kick for all of us. I think we've let it live with us now a little bit too long. We can now say, you know, on the road, this is a really, really good Liverpool side. Yeah. It's a Liverpool side that no one's going to want to face between now and the end of the season. And yeah, you know, it's still a long way from perfect, but it's a side that's, you know, you're watching it week by week now reassert its claim to that top four place, and we shouldn't now be looking backwards. We should really only be looking upwards. We should be looking forwards, and we should be looking at Manchester United and saying, you know what, we can finish second to this great City side, and we can put ourselves as, we are the second best team in the country, and next season we'll try to become the first. That will of course be a sign of progress. And yeah, you're right, Neil, to say that, you know, with 2 points behind Manchester United now. They were pretty poor, all told, against Newcastle, and we've now got a better away record than them because of those two results yesterday. You've done the free show already. Good one? Yeah, really good indeed. Neil Jones came in from Liverpool Echo, really, really good. Paul Senior on, he was the business. A new lad called Fuad came in, and Fuad's done some work for us behind the camera and stuff like that. Lovely person, but he really good on the show as well. And Ian Ryan, the business. So no, really good free show. That's out at the minute. If people want to listen to it, it's sitting there. I don't talk very much, which is always a sign of a good one. That is in all the usual places. You can listen to it on the website, you can listen to it even on places like Spotify, things like that. Basically any podcast app, type in the Anfield app, you'll be able to find that free show, give it a listen, give it a go, and then if you want more, you can get involved with Tour Player, which we always give a plug, £5 a month, as many podcasts as you want, basically on Liverpool Football Club, about every aspect of it, and other stuff as well. We just had Anwar Udden in here in this very room. We just done something with him, a cup of tea. He was the first British Asian player to play professionally in this country, and it was a great chat. He's now working with the Football Supporters Federation, so that'll be going out there. You can have a listen to that, and other stuff coming up as well. There's obviously the usual stuff, the review. Yeah, there's the review. We're doing that tomorrow morning. Under the Lights is they're recording it right now as we're doing this, so at the minute they're getting that done. A look ahead to Porto. John's got to put up someone to talk about Porto as well over the phone, who's informed about them, who knows what it's about, so that's there as well on Tour Player. That will be there, come out this evening on that, as we can begin to look towards, you know, we talk about top four, and we're right to talk about top four, but the point of top four is that it gets you in the Champions League, and then enjoying that and going as far as you can, and hopefully Liverpool have got a draw. I don't think it'll be easy. I think they'll be cagey, Porto. I think they'll be cagey home and even cagier away. I think they'll be really cagey. But I think, you know, hopefully it's a draw we were all happy with. We've got to remember that. That doesn't mean it'll be easy. They've got loads of European experience, but if we can do that, we're on the march, getting towards the last stage of the Champions League, and really a season that feels like it's got so much in it. Yeah, absolutely. Back in a minute, we'll have a quick look at the papers. Okay, the papers then, and not a whole lot in there today. I mean, it's, you know, on Monday's papers always just looking back at the matches that you've all seen, so it is not, you know, not loads jumping out. So I thought what we'd do is just laugh a little bit more about Manchester United losing at Newcastle. I mean, fantastic that it was Benitez getting one over Mourinho, if you like that kind of thing. I do. Fantastic in general as well. Fantastic to see John Joe having quite a good game for them. I enjoyed that. He's wild still. He's still mad. The reasons we let him go are still there. I think he's such a funny player. But I like him. I just like. There was a bit where we were watching it together, and there was a bit where he just seemed to like run through a load of people, and it bounced off loads of body parts, and he did it dead aggressively, and it went out, and he won a throw in. And you were like, that's the most A-louse thing you've ever seen. And I was like, it's brilliant. It was brilliant. I remember that, but it's like, you know, you want to see Newcastle take time out of the game, so John Joe's solution is to blam it into someone's shins. And I love it. I mean, I absolutely love it. Like, it's like, what am I going to do here? I don't really even want to beat him, because if I just beat him, I've got other problems. I know. I will just whack it at his shins and we'll get the throw. It was great.
I
loved the whole game, to be honest with you. I saw most of that game, and what I loved about it, and even forgetting the Man United part, though that obviously helps. I love a match where you end up with 4 or 5 mad goal-mouth scrambles. The balls bounce. Oh, brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. And then you get to hear the Newcastle supporters celebrate it like it's a goal when it gets hooked away. Get in! But it was great. I really enjoyed watching it, and obviously it massively helps us, and it's always nice to see Man United lose any game if we're all honest about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so there's some dissection of that result and the way the way Manchester United are playing. Tony Cascarino with his weekend talking points in the game in the Times. He says Lukaku makes United too predictable, and he talks about City, Liverpool, Barcelona and PSG all having flexible, free-flowing attackers, whereas United have a fixed point in Lukaku, and it's not his fault, but he says United's formulaic style with him in the side isn't suiting Sanchez, which is all music to my ears. He said they spent all that money, but they're such a long way from the days of Tevez, Ronaldo and Rooney, and if there's to be a success with Sanchez, Cascarino says, I don't see how Lukaku fits in. I mean, on our way home, we did come through Manchester Airport, and while I was waiting to, they got them automatic passport things, which are a bit weird, seem to take longer than just showing it to the fella, so I don't quite get what the whole point of the exercise is. But there's 2 fellas who worked there discussing Smalling and Jones just need to go, they're just not good enough. That's just another example there that, they're just not good enough for United. So I really enjoyed listening to that conversation, because any time when United fans are feeling low, I'm feeling good, especially when the Reds have won. But what do you make of what Tony said?
I think it sounds, I can take his points, but what strikes me is, well, then you've got the wrong manager. You look at all the way through Mourinho's career. Some of his sides have played really good attacking football. I don't buy into the idea he's a defensive manager. He really isn't. I think certainly his first Chelsea side, they played some really good stuff. Robert and Duff swapping wings. He would use lads like Good Johnson deeper and play some good stuff. So this isn't a Mourinho thing, but he always has a fixed point in attack. He always has a big lad who wants to be number 9. He wants the striker. He wants the lad who's up front. He's your number 9, and that's what he does. So I think that Tony can, he can write that piece as much as he wants. What he's actually saying there is, I don't want Jose Mourinho to be Man United manager. That's where they end up. That's absolutely fine, but that's what that means. And sometimes I think you've got to see the same with our manager, the same with every single manager, the same with Rafa Benitez, the same with Pep Guardiola. To spend your time saying, well, I think that they should do more of this. Well, you might as well be wishing for the moon. They're not going to do
their own styles.
Yeah, they've got the way in which they go about playing, and there's very few of them who do. Benitez is one who do flit around a little bit, but most of them, and even Benitez, there's certain values his teams always have. But you might. It's like when people say this is the inverse of. And I've been saying it at times, Klopp should go and get someone up front for certain games who's a physical presence and etc. Well, this is just the other way around. But Klopp's not going to do that, and Guardiola's not going to do that. They're going to play their football. So, yeah, I just sort of think Tony can bang on. What it does do, though, and there's a nice piece in The Guardian by Jonathan Wilson about the game as well. He sort of makes the point that if Benitez overcomes his old foe, that's in the headline. But it's more... I think one of the problems that United do have is you come up against a Benitez, well, he knows what you're going to do inside and out. And that doesn't mean that he can stop it. When we mentioned those goal-mouth scrambles, United could have scored 3 in that game just while we were watching. They could have scored 3. So it isn't as though it's like some sort of brilliant tactical masterclass.
No, Rafa said he rode the luck a little bit as well. He was, he was man enough to say that. I just remembered another thing about it as well.
Go on.
This picture sort of shows it a little bit there. Got that, Sam? So that's Richie celebrating his goal. We really enjoyed how he celebrated his goal, because he just ran, he slid on his knees, but look at his face there. He's absolutely delighted that he scored, but he gave it a fucking get in. and we were saying how much we love one of them.
I love a clear lip reading swear celebration. They're always brilliant. There's the great Mascherano one where he's just shouting "fuck off" over and over again as he runs away. Like an absolute maniac. But I love a clear, he's really got stuck into that one celebration.
I like
Forget all this.
Yeah, I'm bang behind the sweary celebration. I always like as well where the broadcasters aren't sort of quite sure what we do about this. You know what I mean? So, when a player does it, or when you hear the crowd chanting, sometimes you hear them obviously just turn a knob down somewhere on the crowd at times, turn that mic off. We're not into that, what they're singing there. But when a player does it, and he does it to the camera, can't rewind it, you can't, you know, it's done. And you can tell sometimes there's a few things they go for, isn't there? Sometimes they go, well, apologies if it picked up the foul language there, and, you know, blah, 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 blah. And then other times, and this is my favourite one, they just don't say anything.
Oh, yeah,
it's like a long period of silence, and then they just go, well, how are United going to get back into this then? And I think it was one of them, but yeah, I enjoyed that. Well, that'll do us, won't it? That's been Talking Reds. It's been a bit of a mad one, a wild one, an unplanned one. But, you know, we did only just get back from
thanks to everyone who came
Norway
to see us.
Before. Yeah, absolutely. Everyone was really kind, really nice. And yet again, brilliant to get out there and meet Reds from all over the world. And we had a fantastic time. We'd love to go back as well. So
we may well do. Thanks to everyone who came. Thanks to Reds Bet. Thanks to everyone who gave me all the drink. Really, really pleased about that right now. To be honest with you, but no, it was an absolute belter. As Gareth says, what we talk about it on stage, didn't we? You talked about it really, really well about the idea of going and meeting them in there where they are to watch the match, meeting Liverpool supporters where they exist to watch the game. And it was great to watch the match with people yesterday and be part of that and experience that, because it's unbelievable the lengths that some people go to support the Reds all over the world, and we learn from it every single time we go. Yeah, absolutely. And it's a sign yet again that Liverpool are massive. So we'll be back to talk about the massive Liverpool Football Club tomorrow on Talking Reds. See you later.